What do you think that this task force, in the past few weeks since it was created, in the 6 weeks since the assassination attempt, what have you guys achieved so far, do you think?
Well, I mean, big first steps obviously are putting together a staff. You need the lawyers on board who can conduct the interviews and help to gather the information and do any kind of legal research that might be necessary. So putting the staff together took a little bit of time, but that's in place now. We needed to consolidate documents or information that had been gathered by other committees. I serve on Judiciary and Homeland Security. Both of them had already had hearings on this before the task force vote took place. So we had to reach out to those committees and say, give us the information that you've collected, papers that you might have received from requests for information that you sent out to those agencies. They also had hearings, so we got the transcripts from those as well. And then also gathering together information, like I mentioned a moment ago, radio communications, body camera footage, and the like. So we want to gather all of that together, and that's just on the federal side. We're trying to do the same thing on the state and local side as well, keeping in mind that they have investigations that they're doing as well. There's a criminal investigation that's being conducted, like the FBI at the federal level. There's a state version of that that's going forward. There are investigations that they're doing to make sure that they have accountability on their side, just like we're doing with the Secret Service. Were mistakes made? If so, who made them? We know that mistakes were made overall, but one of the things we have to do is specifically get to who made the specific mistakes, how those mistakes were made, and how we can correct them going forward. And then we need to make sure that the protocols that are in place, certainly between the Secret Service and local law enforcement, in coordinating protection for these visits, that's got to be improved as well. Clearly, that didn't function the way that it should have. And then there's particular one-off issues. For example, um, the shooter scouted the area out with a drone earlier in the day before the shooting took place. Apparently, law enforcement either lacked the capacity to put a drone up, or failed to do it for some other reason. We got to make sure we understand what's going on with that, because drones are in widespread use right now. We've seen how effective they can be in Ukraine and Israel from a military standpoint, but from a reconnaissance standpoint, as we saw with this, they can be important too. And we need to make sure that the protection groups are able to meet fire with fire on that front.